You're not a weirdo.
I'm a little weird. Okay, I've got the chat up. We are live. I feel like it's a time to take just a collective breath.
I mean, can things get any more, like, crazy? I mean,
Oh,
I feel like I'm in a movie. Like, I feel like legitimately, is this real? Like, what is happening right now, you know?
oh, yep, we are. Okay, just making sure. It just feels like the most
Hey, Jackie. Hello, Rochelle.
Hi, ladies. American abstract. That's fun.
That's Jackie. She comes into Jacqueline, she comes into my lives a lot on
Oh,
YouTube.
very
What's up,
fun.
ladies? How's it going? How's everybody doing? We are in a movie, right?
We are legit in a we're in
Well,
an
I would like
effing
to
movie.
speak to the writers. I have a problem with some of these things. Like, I need to speak to my union rep. Hello.
We're gonna have some words.
Yeah, I
Oh my
always joke when I finally croak and I get to heaven and they give me the, like, review card. I'm
yeah.
gonna say,
You're just
1 star, see the teacher. I had some constructive feedback.
I'm a little pissed about this.
Yeah. Good
Oh,
afternoon. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Wendy. Hello, Dorothy. Hello, Jen. Lots of YouTube friends coming in. I love
no
it.
kidding.
Like a horror movie, yeah. Depends on the
It's like
day.
a
Really
horror
depends on
movie.
the day. Really depends on the day. Hi,
It
Nancy.
does.
Theatrics of the absurd. I'd say that fits.
That fits. I freaking love that theatrics of the.
Wade coming in and reminding everybody to hit that like button. Thank you, Wade. I
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you. Absolutely legit. I am fake fit. Legit. I am fake fit.
Yeah.
Hello from Cold Ohio. Hi, Lindsay. To everybody that's popping in, hello, welcome. So excited for this. I don't really have any plans because I just
Man,
wow the energy, and you too.
I think, today is a great day to just hang out and be friends. Like, let's just be
Let's just
friends,
be
you know? I'm
friends.
I'm so excited to have a conversation. Maybe you should talk about what happened with your mimic. That might be interesting.
Oh Lord, goodness sakes, yeah, that's a great idea. And so, yeah, okay, let me get ready.
I feel like I look like I have makeup on. Like, I keep looking at myself and I'm like, "Why do I look like I have smeared makeup? I don't even wear makeup." Like, what
do,
is that? You know?
do you have a filter on your?
No, I don't know how to do it. So, no.
Oh, well, sometimes when I'm like in my hoodie and just woke up, I will click on that little filter and just like,
When I come in though as a guest, it doesn't give me an option. So I don't know as
oh,
a guest if I
oh,
have the
I don't
same.
think you can. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but we'll find out. And then if you need to add a filter, we'll do it.
I'm not worried
I
about
don't.
it. This
I don't
is
think you
me,
do.
right? Like,
It's
this is
just you.
me.
It's
I'm
just
fine with
us.
it. It is
Okay,
another crazy day. But yeah, you guys, Melissa has an amazing story.
it's an
First of all,
interesting.
it's really interesting, and I love that this is the first time that I was able to say, "Hey, I think it's this." And you're like, "Ooh," and you look it up and you go, "Oh, I think it might be that." I
That's
mean, that was
happened.
really exciting.
It was really exciting. So I had a situation years ago, and when I say years ago, I'm talking, it would have been close to 28 years ago, where I was in a relative's home with my children and my husband's little brother. I don't really want to call him out, so, but I guess I'm gonna. Um, anyway, they were all outside playing, and I'm at the kitchen making lunch, and I see this little child in green, which my husband's little brother is the same age as our children. He was running down the hallway. I saw a little green and a little towhead because he had really light blonde hair. So I was like talking to him, and my husband comes up and he's like, "Who are you talking to?" And I said, "Mikey, he just ran down the corridor." He's like, "No, he didn't. He's out back." And I was like, "He is?" And so we just kind of made fun of me at that point. I see things. It just kind of became a thing. This house was spirited. I don't necessarily know I want to use the word haunted, but there was some things going on
I
there.
like spirited. It sounds better. Sounds more fun.
It's so fast forward to a couple of weeks ago in the same home with the same people, but now of course everybody's an adult, visiting my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law, who I saw as a child running down the hallway, is standing by the refrigerator, and all of a sudden I see somebody lean over from the hallway where I saw somebody running years ago, but they looked at me and they waved. Now it's not necessarily uncommon. My abilities have been really ramping up lately, and I've been seeing spirit off and on for a long time, but not quite like that. Um, so I was like, "Is that a doppelganger? What's happening?" Because he's standing right here. I see him clear as day. The real him is right here, but this person that looks just like him waving at me. So I was just like, what in the shit is going on? And I didn't say anything to anybody. Everybody knows what I do. Um, but I think something like that might make them uncomfortable. So it wasn't shared immediately. I did talk to my husband about it a little bit later. And we were both kind of like, what the shit? So I reached out to Erin and I said, hey, have you ever heard of them? Well, I didn't ask that because I didn't know what it was. I was like, have you ever heard of this happening? So I told her the story. I thought doppelganger. And then Erin said,
A mimic.
and I'm going to look it up and share this too. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
My understanding, so someone explained this to me a while ago, and the way they explained it to me is a mimic isn't necessarily bad or good. It's a sort of spin-off of an emotion that sort of has enough energy behind it to kind of spin itself off, but because there's no input to it, it doesn't last very long. So that's kind of how it was explained to me what a mimic was. So I said maybe it was a mimic, and
And I'd never heard of that term. I've heard of, doppelgangers. I've heard of tulpas. I've heard of poltergeists, all those things, but I've never heard the term mimic before. It's never showed up for me. So I was like, well, let's look it up. An energetic pattern that copies the form of something without carrying its true essence. It imitates the look, tone, or surface signature of an energy, but it cannot replicate the depth, coherence, or intelligence of the real thing. Think of it as a hollow echo, a mask that resembles truth, a pattern without a soul. So you'll see them, well, in intuitive work. A mimic can appear as a message that sounds like guidance but feels off or flat. An animal, well, it's not animal communication, a spirit impression
yeah, kind of like when you lay
that
in the
lasts.
sand and you get up, there's still the impression.
There's, yeah, that is residual. I consider that residual energy. And I've had that happen a lot where I can see who was standing there. They're still alive, they're no longer there. I come
Mhm.
into the room and I'm seeing people, and I used to think that they were deceased people because it presents the same way to me. But when I said, hey, is you have a deceased person? And they're like, no, that's Uncle Charlie, and he's right over here. I'm like, oh, I just had an aha moment. Oh
I
my
love it when that
God.
happens.
Okay, sorry. My Aunt Marie, who is deceased, came to see me this afternoon, and she said, Missy, I have people here for you. And I said, you do? And she said, yes, I have Charlie and Vicky. It's like, who the fuck is that? It's funny when the medium doesn't know who she's talking about. And when I said Charlie, my Uncle Chuck, I didn't think it to call him Charlie. Anyway, sorry. I
No,
wrote it down. I'm going to dig into that later.
that's totally fine. Someone says, "Why did it wave?" Michelle said, "Why did it wave at you if it's residual?" I don't understand
And
how
I
those
don't
things
think it
work.
was residual. That's the point.
Yeah,
I was just saying that there's residual energies too, where you can
yeah,
see people. I think it was the mimic. I don't think it was residual either.
yeah. And then
I
someone
know.
else asked a great question. I want to go. Where did it go? Something about the fire horse, right? So we're moving out of the year of the snake and into the year of the fire horse. We're kind of in the gap, right? We're in the
Yep, we
dead
are.
zone.
I've
I
got
don't
some
know
things.
enough. I don't know enough about any kind of astrology to even speak remotely intelligently about it. But what I can tell you is my lived experience. And yes, 1000%, not just for me, but for others. There are so many people, so many clients that I've had in the last, say, 2 weeks that are going through rapid transitions. And I mean, out of nowhere. I mean, not out of nowhere. And it's happening to things like the moving idea with me, right? Something I
Yes,
always
yes,
wanted, but I didn't
yes.
really expect it to happen. And now it's happening all at once. Like
Yeah.
everything is happening almost like the dam broke, right? And I have a lot of people in sessions who have been coming to me and saying the same thing. And I really think it's part of the ending, the shedding of the skin of this old sort of world paradigm, whatever you want to call it, and the moving forward into something that feels more fiery, something that feels better, you know?
Yeah, we're releasing. I actually did a post on it a couple of days ago, and it's got the most shares I've had in some times.
Oh, we lost her.
Plus energy. Oh,
There you are. I don't know what
I'm like,
happened.
bye.
You
See you
disappeared for a
later.
second.
My internet. I do live in the sticks, so
Yeah. And
fire
then,
horse energy is huge right now. Um,
yeah,
it is coming in. It's making its entrance, but we're still waiting for the snake. The snake isn't done shedding, and so what I heard in my head just now was recoil. So it's still kind of like trying to move through everything. So all of your traumas, things that you haven't worked through, things that no longer serve you, things that agitate you, are getting more intense, and
yes.
that's going to keep happening for a while.
Yes. And you add on top of that the way our sun is behaving, right? Our sun is losing its ever loving mind
Yes.
right now. Like, I want people to understand, like, I'm not a geophysicist, but I have been observing this every single day for years, right? And I can tell you when something is unusual, right? And we are in the solar maximum for our sun, which is true. That is a true statement. However, we're supposed to be at the end of the solar maximum when it's starting to gas itself out and wind down. And it is not doing that. We have this very active sunspot facing us like direct right now that has been shooting. I mean, we've had, I don't know, 6 or 7 X class flares, like 20 M class flares, like 10 C class flares. This thing is active. Our ionosphere is heavily charged right now. It's like the battery is just getting more and more and more, but the earth
Yeah.
is just absorbing and absorbing and absorbing. This is a highly charged area. So I've had so many people reach out to me, and I just want to be very clear about this and ask me, what if a Carrington type event happens again? Well, that's always a possibility, but something I would encourage people to remember, that when the Carrington event happened, it was before technology advanced. It was back when we only had telegrams, and things are in place to protect the grid. So even if we have an event at the same level as the Carrington event, that does not mean that the whole world is going to shut down and die, right? Because we have all of these protections in place. It may mean that it goes down. It may mean that there are issues, but it does not mean that there's going to be a giant cataclysmic, oh my God moment. Okay. Unless you're a teenager and can't get on YouTube, maybe, but you
Or
know what I'm
TikTok.
saying? So I don't want people to get lost in their fear because they're basing it on what people experienced 100 years ago. Things are very, very different now. And yes, we are part of a grid that is, yes, vulnerable, but that does not mean that we have been careless. The people who built it weren't careless. You know what I mean? They had this event happen before. It's not like they have never seen it. So
Tell
just
me about
something to
that
keep that in mind.
event. Tell me about that
So
event.
I don't remember exactly what year
Oh,
it was.
see, yeah.
Yeah. So, but the Carrington event, this was a large CME solar, it was a solar flare followed by a giant CME that was Earth directed. It was, I want to say, during the 1800s. It's back when we only had telegraphs, there were no telephones. Okay. But when this event happened, the amount of energy that hit the earth fried the telegram lines, all of them, all at once. It all just went down and everything stopped working. So that was very scary back then. However,
Was that during the time of Tesla, Nikola Tesla?
I don't know the years or anything, so I can't tell you for sure. But since then, I mean, it is very possible that we get hit with something like that again. But it's also, we have to remember that technology has advanced dramatically in the last 5 years, much less the last 100 years. And I think that there is a possibility that if big if we have another thing like this, it may cause some chaos. We may lose the grid for a few days, but I don't want people to get lost in the idea that the world's going back to the Stone Age if that happens. You know what I mean? We have to be prepared that it could happen and recognize that we are a society largely built on technology, but we also have to remember we're also a society of very smart people, and we can figure this out, and we don't have to freak out, and we don't have to lose our minds about it, and we don't even know it's ever going to happen. It's just something like that, just be calm about it.
I have to put this on the screen because it made me giggle.
The great social media apocalypse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The
There
reason
you
I
go.
asked,
August 28th, 1859
oh,
to September 2nd or 3rd, right? So
okay.
it was a long time ago. So it is true that it caused a lot of chaos and it did a lot of stuff, but it is also true that we've advanced significantly since then. So please be careful with the videos that I've been seeing going around with big splashy Carrington event coming, major dramatic event
Yeah.
coming. Friends,
Because you can create that shit.
You can.
And they know that.
They do, and they're doing their best to get views and eyes on their content, and I do understand that, but I also am very understanding of how the law of attraction works.
Yes.
And I'm not going to do that, right? I'm just not. So
Yes. And I appreciate that. Because all we have to do is start, sharing a little bit. And once it starts to get traction and everybody starts to believe it. I think we talked about this when we first started doing these lives about the whole, the Simpsons show and how people say, well, they predicted all this stuff. I don't think so. I think that they created it because to get enough people looking at it and it puts that in the energy. We are very powerful creators. We have just been taught to give our power away, but we are freaking powerful.
Yeah.
I wanted to say real quick, the reason I asked if that was during Nikola Tesla is because as you were talking about it, I immediately had this gentleman visitor in my right side with the coat tails, the white shirt, the dark hair, somebody who I would have said, oh, that looks just like Nikola Tesla. So I was like,
he was probably going, yeah, I told him not to do that, idiots. He was probably like, I told y'all so.
It's like, who the hell is it?
Right.
Anyway, I felt that over my right. So if you see any orbs over here, that's probably this fella.
I'll let you know. Hello. I want to say hello to some people who are joining from YouTube. We've got Amy. We've got Melissa, another Melissa, or Michelle. Maybe. We got a Mary Ellen Monroe. She's here. CPT Nelnox. Nelnox. We got some good friends over here. I love it. I love that you guys are joining over from YouTube. Thank you so much for doing that.
The Halloween of Horrors episode, just don't look, it's inverted. I don't know what that means. The Halloween.
I've probably in my entire life watched 2 episodes of The Simpsons.
I see. Okay.
I am not a huge. I don't want to say I'm not a fan of animation. It's just not the thing that tickles my boat, right? Every once in a while I like animated stuff, but I'm not too much. I watch so much of it with my kids. I'm so over it right now.
Abby said that he was born in 1856. So
3 years before the storm.
He wasn't even, he was just a little. He wouldn't have been what I saw.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You have a question about animal mediumship, dear?
I do animal mediumship. I do connect with animals. It is great fun. And they are so smart. Super intelligent animals. If you're asking me through my website, Melissa Henyon, so it's just my name. You can see it on screen. Just melissahenyon.com.
Yeah. So also something I want to bring up and see if you've been experiencing this too, Melissa. I've had a lot of people starting to ask questions around awakening that I never thought would. That I never thought would come around. And all of a sudden, I'm starting to get questions from people. And I'm like, oh, here's the last wave, right?
I was asked to do a reading for somebody who I would have never, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just shook me because I was like, well, there it is.
I totally freaked out my painter. like the guy that was doing the work on my house,
Uh,
I texted him and I said, I just said something. I was answering a question that he did not ask, right? And I texted him.
yes.
Oh,
Go ahead.
and he called me and he goes, I was literally dialing your number to ask you this question. That's weird. I go, oh, do you know what I do for a living? And he goes, no. And I go, I'm a psychic. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah, I'm psychic. And he goes, this is freaking me out right now. And I'm like, I'm just saying that's what I do for a living, you know? And then the next day, my real estate agent came to the house and he's like, what did you say to Wes? And I was like, I didn't say anything. I just told him. And he goes, I saw him and the guy was white as a ghost. And he's like, something's going on with your client, man. She knows stuff.
He's a weirdo. I love that so much. I do kind of get a kick out of it when we kind of freak people out.
I think it's fun. I think it helps to open doors. I don't ever push it, you know. If he were to ask me more about it, I'd absolutely tell him, but I'm not going to push it, you
I
know. If
don't.
he needs to know,
Yep.
he wants to know, I'll tell him. But
Yeah.
I think it's fun when it happens. It happens to my husband all the time and he refuses to admit it all the time and he will absolutely flat out refuse to admit it. But
Oh,
he knows. It's like one of those things like I know he knows I know, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
and he's just pretending,
Yeah.
you know.
That's funny. I was just at my vet's office and I had a lady. I was in the truck while my husband was inside, and there was a lady walking by, and I was like, oh. And I know two of the ladies that work there. So I just texted him and said, hey, you guys have an older client? Because she's walking back and forth, red vest, white shirt, blah, blah, blah. It was the vet's mom. So, and I share that because if you guys start seeing things, and I think more of us will, I do think that um, I think we have our own awakening and our own ascension depending on where we're at now. So I don't know that everybody's just going to walk in and start talking to dead people for a living, but I do believe more and more people's third eye, their pineal gland is waking up. They're starting to come online. We kind of have to, and we're going to continue seeing more and more. There's an explosion in the medium world. There just is. Everybody and
In
their
the
brother.
channeling world everywhere. But
Absolutely, it's huge.
that's the result of the thinning of the veil. And I
Yes,
literally looked up. We had been live for 22 minutes and 22 seconds when I said that. I just have to say that because I looked right over at the timer and I was like, oh crap. So
that's awesome.
the veil is
That's
just
not on
getting
accident either. You know,
no, the
well, I
veil
know
is just
that.
getting incredibly thin and it needs to. You know, we need to reconnect to the higher versions of ourselves, the more complete versions of ourselves. We need to come back together as a community. We need to stop being so separated. We need to recognize how we are complementary to each other and not competition. There's so many things that need to happen so that we can move
Yeah,
forward into something better.
yeah,
Mediumship, channeling, all of these things. The only thing I would say is be very careful that you don't box yourself in because of somebody else's definition. The way
absolutely.
that you receive a frequency is going to be unique to you. So if you're communicating with what I call a past person, it may look different, feel different, and act different for you than it does for Melissa. And for me, mediumship isn't necessarily my strongest suit, but it's still there. But everybody's different, so please be careful that you don't tell yourself something isn't true for you because it doesn't look like somebody else's story. This is your story, so
Yeah,
make sure you're writing your own story.
and this is a really good time to plug the class that we're going to be doing in
Oh
April
yeah,
about mediumship.
we
So that,
are.
yeah, so that you can learn what it is, what it isn't.
Yes.
Hopefully, we'll cut out some of the bullshit that's around it
Yeah,
and make
and
it more tangible, more real for you.
I'm so excited about that class because it's
I am
two
too.
classes in one, friends, two for one. So, in the first half of the class, I'm going to talk about energy just in the form of what is energy and how does it work, and from the macro to the micro. And then Melissa's going to take that and apply that to everything with mediumship so that you can learn and apply, learn and apply. And we're going to help you
Absolutely.
guys connect and learn how to listen. And it's a great workshop. It's going to be so, so fun.
I think
So
it's going to
fun.
be a really fabulous jump off point for people because you're not going to learn everything you need to know about mediumship. There was a very, oh my gosh, I can't believe I don't remember his name. I know I got his book somewhere. I'm kind of embarrassed. Anyway, he said if you're going to be doing mediumship for a living, you should be practicing it for 7 years before you go out and start just reading people. The reason for that being you can say things that can cause a lot of harm, especially when you're misunderstanding.
Right.
And there's a lot of that when you're first starting. Like, I don't know what this symbol means. I don't know what they're trying to tell me. Um, I had a lady tell me after my son passed, she was a self-proclaimed medium, that he needed me to stop thinking about him and worrying about him because he couldn't cross over or he could. Bullshit.
Right.
I will get in your face about that all day long because I've never seen them struggle with that. In fact, it's always the opposite. They might pull back out of your energy if you're struggling, but I've
Yes.
never had them say, "Oh, she
And
needs to leave me alone."
yeah, I will tell you the one experience I've had that was mediumistic in nature, right, was my own father.
Yeah,
And he and I, when he died, I was actually kind of pissed at him because I'm like, I'm
sure.
a psychic and you didn't come say goodbye, you jerk, kind of thing. So I didn't, it was about a year after he died, and I was literally meditating and I was really kind of thinking about him. I wasn't super sad, but I was kind of just reminiscing in my mind about him. And he suddenly showed up. And I don't know how to express how it felt because I could so clearly see him in my mind. It was as if I was standing right in front of him.
Mhm.
And he looked the healthiest he'd ever looked. He looked so happy. He had his jean jacket on and the collar popped up. He had his aviator sunglasses on. He just looked amazing. I'm getting chill bumps saying it. And I asked him, I said, first, I said, what did it feel like to die? And he said, it was the biggest, freshest breath I've ever taken. And he had emphysema and he died because he couldn't breathe. And so for me, that was such a huge release of
Yeah,
worry, right?
absolutely.
And then I said, how come you didn't say goodbye? And he said, because you weren't ready to say goodbye. He said, I needed to give you space to work through things. I've always been here, but here I am. I'm going to do what you wanted me to do, and I'm going to say goodbye because you're ready.
Absolutely.
And it gave me such a sense of peace to know that. And I fully understood in that moment that he had always been there. He just didn't come forward because I was struggling. And he knew that if he came forward, it wouldn't be helpful at that time. So he waited until I was ready. And then he came forward and he very clearly said goodbye. And then he was gone. And I have not seen him since. But I know he's around me. He
Absolutely.
doesn't, he's not in my face about it. But for me, that was such a clear understanding of it's not them that has the issue. It's us that has
Yeah.
the issue. And
Yeah.
when you think about everything we've been told, it's true. We've been told that once you pass over, there's no more contrast. So why would there be any holding back of any kind? That doesn't make any logical sense. That's a contrasting moment. That's human. That's human.
Very
That's not
human.
energetic. That's human, right?
Yes.
So just something to put out there for everybody to kind of think about.
In fact, when they come through, they're very much, they're almost like a little child in a sense because children don't have a filter. So sometimes when spirit comes through, I will run it through my filter before I say it because sometimes it can appear or sound really harsh or terse. But that's so when I channel, it doesn't run through my filter. And sometimes I'm like, oh, oh.
Right.
And I think that they'll do that if they're like, she's not going to say it. So just,
Yeah. People are asking when is the class is in April. It's April 10th at 8 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Wait, yeah, 5 p.m. your time. It's
yep, that was it.
6 p.m. your time.
What time did we say?
It's 8 p.m. Central, so it's
Yeah,
6
yeah, I
p.m.
think,
Pacific.
what time is it for you now?
It's 7:32.
Okay, yep, you're 2 hours ahead.
Right.
It's fine.
Tickets are available. There's a link on my website. If you go to consciouslyerin.com and click on the tools for transformation button, there's a whole list of a ton of different workshops that I'm doing. Hers is one of them. They're in chronological order. So that's somewhere to check. I'm super excited about it. Every ticket, not only do you get the 2 classes, but you also get a link to rewatch the recording anytime you want
Yes,
to, and you get like a written summary of what we talked about with the highlights, so that you can revisit this over and over again. So to me, it's such a helpful thing. We made it
yes.
as affordable as possible, but there is a limit on the number of tickets. So just keep that in mind.
I know I've got it on here, so I was just going to grab a link for us real
Yeah. Hello
quick.
from Clearwater, Florida. I'm about to move to Florida. Not Clearwater, but. Hello, Terry. Welcome. Hello, Chris. Welcome. Amy. Thank you.
Yeah, tickets are incredibly affordable. I mean, I feel like they are.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
try to keep it as affordable. I have so many workshops coming up. I am so over the moon about all the opportunities that have come forward. I'm really there's a link. Perfect. I'm really excited about the one, the energy of mediumship. The other one, I mean, I'm excited about all of them. But the other one that I think is so helpful that kind of goes along with this is I'm doing one with my friend Brianna called Demystifying Death, right?
that's a good one.
Because her PhD is in death, basically. And she did her PhD thesis on near death experiences. And after going through thousands of near death experiences, she created a database that you can go to and say, how many people experience this? How many people experience this? You can even break it down into countries. Do people in China experience this different than people in America? This kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So we're going to talk about death as energy, as a transition only, which leads perfectly into the class that I'm going to be
yeah.
doing with you. So there's so many things coming forward to help us better understand everything. And I think that's purposeful that everything's coming together like this, you
It
know?
is amazing. Do you know that they can weigh the soul? That they have been able to weigh an animal as it's passing, and they have weighed the weight of the soul.
They can do it with people too. They've done it with
Yeah.
people too.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Amy, on YouTube, I made a post on YouTube. It's not a video, but it's a post on YouTube a few days ago, and it should be there. Or, like I said, if you go to my website, consciouslyaaron.com, and click on Tools for Transformation, all of the worksheets, all of the workshops are listed there. Melissa's,
I'm going to
Brianna's.
try to find your website so I can share it here.
Yeah. I'm also doing one that Melissa's excited about. You guys know the lady with the dowsing rods. Her name's Megan. Solar
I'm
glow
so fucking
meditation.
excited. I'm just like,
I'm
ah.
doing one with her too, and she's going to talk to you guys about how you can use dowsing rods, how it works, how she learned to use them. I mean, it's going to be a great, great class.
Yeah, I totally want to do that. So I'll probably sign up tomorrow. Because I was like, oh, I need to be part of this. I want to watch. I think she's adorable and she asks the best questions.
She's
Okay,
so sweet. I was
here
just
is
on her
Erin's
podcast, and she was so sweet. She is everything what you see in her videos, that's exactly what you
That's
get.
her.
She's
I love that.
absolutely adorable. She's super kind and very sweet, and she's got beautiful energy. Her energy was so rosy pink. It was just lovely.
I love that. I want to answer this question really quick from Casey. I'm curious how angels come through for you visually more and more. I'm seeing little sparkles or flashes. So I think that's a great question. And Erin and I have both touched on this a little bit. Um, they will appear how you need them to.
Yeah.
So I have had I have a guide, my gatekeeper. So if you guys don't know what that is, we do have a gatekeeper. He is like the bouncer. He's our bouncer. My gatekeeper shows up in armor. And so just so you know, my brain needed to see that to make me feel safe. So that's why he appeared that way. He's not running around spirit realm with armor on, but that's what I needed to see. Angels for me usually don't present with wings or anything like that. Sometimes I'll see flashes of color, sparkles. I have absolutely seen sparkles. I felt their energy on my skin, if that's not weird sounding. So, if when they present to us, their energy will do different things. So, like you see, that's spirit. My ears will get beat ass red when I am starting to channel or getting a connection to somebody's dead people. It's a
Hmm.
telltale. Or I sweat, so that's why I have my fan on because that's gross.
Yes. And a lot of people don't realize that, right? I've had that conversation a lot. I want to remind everybody, hey, the movement of energy causes heat. Hello. Have you ever boiled water? So guess what you're mostly made of?
Which
Water.
is another, I'm glad you said that too, because that's something about the fire horse energy coming in. Drink lots of water right now. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That
It's also
moves
incredibly
energy.
conductive. So the energy that you're receiving will move
Yes,
smoother through your
yes,
system if you're hydrated,
yes. And
right?
what I heard was it will help you with your dreams too, which makes me real emotional because I know a lot of people are having some crazy ass dreams. So, um,
I want to just add to what you were saying about the angels.
Yes,
For me,
yes.
because what I deal in is mostly frequency, right? When beings from that realm present themselves to me, I hear them, I don't see them. And they have a very high pitch to them. And that's how my brain translates that energy, right? So for me,
Yes.
if I am dealing with, I call them angels, but I'm hesitant to do that because I feel like people have an idea in their head of what that is. But for me, what that means for me is this is a being that has not incarnated in a physical form. This is not an ascended master. This is someone, an energy form that has not incarnated into human form. This is something up here, right? So when I hear that, I can hear the frequency of that, and it's a
Mhm.
different frequency. And I try to explain to people, for me, there's layers. There's us, then there's past people, then there's ascended masters, then there's archetypes, and then there's this layer up here that I don't tap into very often because it's not like out of my hearing range, but it's right at the edge. So when I am tapping into that, it requires more energy from me to sustain that signal, and it will drain me faster. So that's something that I don't typically tap into, but every once in a while they'll drop in and say, "Hey, we're here,"
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
pay attention to this.
yeah, yeah. And you can't not pay attention at that point. Yeah.
Right, right. But that's another way to look at how everything works differently for different people.
Mhm.
For me, my strength is frequency. I literally, with my eyeballs, see frequency in the air all the
That's
time.
cool.
This isn't even in my mind's eye, this is everywhere.
Yeah.
And for people the best way I can explain it to people is if you've ever had floaters, it's like that. If I focus on them, I can bring them into focus. If I don't focus on them, they're there, but they're kind of in the background. I don't pay attention to them. But like I'm
Right.
looking at Melissa right now, I can see frequencies all around her. Probably because she's also open as a medium, but and for me, as I look at these frequencies, depending on how broad the bandwidth is and how fast it's moving, tells me how close to probability versus possibility that it is. So and that has taken years of listening to myself, of taking notes on what I'm receiving, on creating my own dictionary, all of this. This is not something I knew like that. I thought I was seeing things forever and completely dismissed it until I finally realized one day, oh, that's what it is. So you have to remember your guides they can only work with what you give them. They can't
Yes.
suddenly put stuff. It's very uncommon, I should say. It's uncommon for them to put stuff in your head that you don't have a frame of reference for. That wouldn't be helpful. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you don't know what they're showing you, it's not helpful to show you that. So they're going to
Yes.
speak with the language that you see.
That's your symbols. Yeah. Yep. Very good.
Yeah, kind of like gnats. They fly around you, but until you pay attention, right, exactly.
Oh, so I'm just. Oh, okay. Let me, because I don't want him to run around being freaked out. So after our meeting, he's been trying to do what I think is right, and I keep seeing 1111 and hawks. Okay, so the thing about hawks, my friend, is those are like a spiritual. Uh, what is it when something comes in like you can't hide from that shit? They die. I would say you're going through a pretty intense awakening. And if you're not already experiencing hearing, feeling, thinking, seeing things, you're probably going to start. I do say that to scare you, but hawks are huge, and 1111 is also huge. When I first went through mine, I was getting dive bombed by hawks. I'm not even kidding. And it scared the bejesus out of me until I like, what is it? Why is it happening? Am I okay? Are they trying to eat me?
Yeah.
They're trying to get your attention, sir.
Yeah. And also, just to add on to that,
Do it.
in my experience, the more synchronicities you see, the more it's a reflection of being in alignment, right? It's like the hot and cold game. It's an easy
Yeah.
way for
Yes.
your guides to communicate
Yes.
with you, right?
Yes.
So for me, if I'm seeing a lot of synchronicities, I know I'm doing good. I'm in alignment. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. If I have a few days where I'm not seeing any, it's a good opportunity for me to stop and say, okay, Where have I gotten off track? Where have I focused that isn't helpful? Where can I, because your guides are subtle. They're most guides. I'm not, no, not all, but most
Yeah, I was
guides
going to say there's a few
are subtle usually.
that come in with a pipe bomb. Wake up.
Right.
They're not doing anything that your soul hasn't asked them to do, though. I want to make that very clear. Their job literally is to keep us on our path, and I call it breadcrumbing, where they, oh,
Right.
here, put her in this situation, put her over here, put her over here. It may not come as an actual download, and we've talked about this too, where you might not always receive it. Like your guides are telling you, you might walk into a room and you see something on TV, or you're scrolling on the internet and something
Right.
pops in, they'll put you where you need to be. They have put so many videos in front of me because I'm
Yeah.
like,
The sooner you can let go of needing to explain things away as coincidence, the
yeah,
much more magical your life becomes. Because everything is connected. Everything is connected. This is not religion. We don't cherry pick. It either is or it is
right.
not connected. And everything is energetically connected. You have to give yourself permission to understand that you are a walking frequency, and based on what you're broadcasting will change what you see around you. The radio station you're tuned to is the music that you hear. So if you're walking around with I'm connected, I feel great, you're going to see tons of stuff to reflect that to you. If you're walking around going it's a crappy day, you're going to see tons of stuff that reflects that to
Yeah,
you. That's simple law of attraction. That's all it is,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, she wants to be angry. Here,
Exactly.
maybe stub her toe
Exactly.
right now. Maybe just,
Exactly.
yeah.
Someone, I want to answer a question. Somebody asked if we see fairies. So just in the same way as I see angels, it's a frequency to me. I see fairies, but I don't see them. I hear them. Everything for me is through my clairaudience, almost everything. I get images, but they're secondary. I always hear first. I always hear the frequency first. I have heard plenty of frequencies that I can only associate with fairies because of the circumstance that I was in. Right? That was like, oh, this is a fairy. This is a funny thing. When I see fairies in my readings, it's it has always been an indicator that you've gotten way too serious about your shit and you need to lighten up, right? The fairies always come in a rush with
They
all this
definitely,
like, have fun and play, but I don't see them. I don't see them very often. I again, everything is a frequencies for me. And sometimes I'm hearing stuff that I don't know what it is because it's not like it comes with an instruction manual and I can go, okay, what is this frequency? It takes
yes.
time and exposure over multiple times before I finally go, okay, this is what that is.
Yeah, yeah. And the fairies, I had a cherub appear, and it appeared like a cherub you would see on those mantles, and I
Hmm.
was like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, I
Right.
didn't, but I did, and he gave me a name. Usually, if they give us names, it is always because of either a past life event, um, or it could be the name. If you look up the etymology of it, what it means,
Right.
like I am of God, or I am this, or love,
Right.
oh, like that kind of
Well,
stuff.
well, speaking of names, I think this is great. So I was given clear insight once by my guides. I mean clear insight that you choose your name before you come here, and therefore it carries a resonant frequency that is assigned to you. It is important that people pronounce your name correctly. It is important that they say your name the way you intended it to be said, because when they say it incorrectly, they're jangling your frequency. So if you have if you have a name, people mispronounce my name a lot for some reason. Iran. I don't know why Eran looks like Iran to anyone, but I get called that a lot. And when a while ago, I would be, oh, that's okay. I'll just answer. No, you need to be, your name is your resonant frequency. It is like the key to your frequency. And if people are jangling it around, it's going to mess up your energy. So you can be mindful and say, this is how you pronounce my name. Thank you. But you should have pride in your name. You chose it. And if that's a nickname, that's a nickname. It doesn't have to be, your birth name. If your name is John and you prefer to go by J, then the J is what matters,
Yeah,
right? Because you chose that. So pay attention. Make sure people are saying your name correctly. Don't let people slide on that. That really bothers me. it's a huge sign of disrespect when that happens to me.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, the name thing is it is very important. We actually do pick our names. I've heard it a couple ways. I've heard, uh, well, our parents are given parameters and they can name us within that, but it is actually is our numerology chart is just as powerful as our astrology chart.
Right.
Something I'm starting to do more of. So, but numerology is very powerful. Why you choose your name, and it tells you a lot. There's so many layers into
Well,
it.
we give ourselves clues all the time. I mean, for me, like these things like astrology, numerology, human design, these are all like spices, right? So when you're planning out your life experience, you're going to come to earth, right? The head angel knocks on the door, says, "Hey, you ready to go? It's time to plan this out." And you're like, "Great." So you go and you get your bowl and you're like, I want to accomplish these things. And so to do that, I'm going to add a little bit of Leo because Leo is going to give me the confidence to do what I want. And I'm going to add a little bit of manifesting generator because that's going to give me the confidence to do this. And a little bit of this and a little bit of this. These are spices. So when you start looking into it, it's like giving yourself your own user's manual.
Yeah,
Right? It's about
yeah.
reminding you of all the things you came here and have access to and the way you can help yourself.
And how you can help your littles because you can do a numerology chart and an astrology chart, and it's almost like a set of instructions. You will learn so much about what they chose to incarnate here on earth for and what your lesson is with them. It kind of gives you a little blueprint.
Mm-hmm. It does. You just have to pay attention to it,
You just have
right?
to read it. Do
I
it.
call those glimmers. We have glimmers everywhere to remind
Oh,
us of who we
so
are.
much.
You
So
know, there's
much.
people that you meet and instantly you're like, "Ooh, we need to be hanging out," or something
Yeah.
like that. Or, "Oh, we need to not be hanging out," you know, something like
Yeah.
that. But that's
I've
happened. I mean, that's happened to me. I've my business partner, Heather, she and I met at a metaphysical fair, right? And it was soon after my awakening, and I walked into this room crowded with people. And she was on the other side of the room. And I swear to this day, it was as if someone put a spotlight on her. And I looked at my friend Rachel and I go, "I got to talk to her." And my friend was like, "That's a little stalkerish. Let's not do that." And I'm like, "No, I'm going to talk to
I'm
her."
doing it.
And I literally pushed my way through the crowd because she was selling malas. And I walk up to her table and I'm standing there and I'm like, "Hi, hi." And she's looking at me like, "Hi." And I'm like, "Can we talk? Like, I think I need to talk to you." And she just was like, I don't know who you are. And I go, "I really need to talk to you." And she gave me, she was busy and God bless her heart, she gave me her cell phone number. She goes, "All right, why don't you text me when I'm not busy?" I walked 4 feet away and sat there and watched and waited until she wasn't busy. And I walked back over there and I said, "I really need to talk to you."
You little
And
stalker.
from that moment, though, it was like an explosion happened in both of our lives. And from that day until the day we opened our physical store was 4 months.
Oh my goodness.
And 2 of those months, I was in Florida because my dad had died and I had to go settle his estate. So it was really only a month and a half that we were together. And then everything literally just lined right up and it just came and there's no way to explain how that felt when it was happening because again, it felt unreal. How is this happening like this? How is this just happening like this? But it was because we were on the same frequency at the same time and we were both in that moment where we were ready to go, you know?
Yes.
It's happened with her, it happened with you, it's happened with a couple other people where I just feel like I need to talk to this person, I need to talk to this person.
Yeah.
And then you've talked to them and you either find out, yes, there's something great here, or maybe not
But
something great here, but either way,
I did have that
listening to
happen
yourself,
recently.
I encourage people, stop being afraid of everything. Everybody else is just as afraid as you are,
Yeah.
don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You only have to be brave for 5 minutes, and you might be surprised at how much comes from that.
Yeah, that's standing in your power. It's funny because I have met some of my most favorite people through this work. Um, and I will see them and I will feel like I think, and it feels weird when you think it because it's like, that's weird. But
It
like,
does feel weird,
you're
but
supposed to be my friend.
right,
I'm
it does
really
feel
sure.
weird, but truly, the more I allow myself to follow that, the more amazing places it's taken me. Another perfect example, right? So, the Megan, the woman I'm doing the retreat with, the workshop with, who does the dowsing rods,
Oh,
right?
yes.
I've been watching her for years. I've been
We
watching her
should
for
get her
years.
to
I
do a
absolutely
live.
love her. I um I messaged her because I one day thought I really need to talk to her. I messaged her. I had zero expectation that she was even going to look at the message because I know how busy my inbox
Yeah.
is. I can
Yeah.
only imagine how busy hers is,
Right.
right? So I sent it and didn't expect, and within 20 minutes she got right back to me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I love your stuff. Let's do something." And it's turned into this amazing thing, you know. That's happened to me over and over and over again. You can't convince yourself that you're not good enough or you're not on the level
Right.
with somebody to reach out to them. Now,
Right.
that said, I will fully say, and Melissa can attest to this, I am very bad at email. Okay. If you
You've
email
gotten
me,
better.
if you email me, I promise you I read it, okay? But the reply is another thing. I am very ADHD, and to sit down and write an email literally takes more effort than it should. And
Yeah.
I have 100 things going on at once, and sometimes I will write an email and think I sent it, and it ends up in my drafts for 3 months. So, if you email me, believe me, trust me, I love the emails. I love hearing the stories. I want you to share that with me. I want you to be comfortable doing that, but please don't be offended if I don't email you back because it's not personal. It just is. I get wrapped up in my life and I forget about it. So the dowsing class. So that is also in April. That's the Saturday before the one with Melissa. So that's Saturday, April the 4th. Again, you can get tickets for that from my website. So
I do want to touch on this real quick, because this is Miss Jennifer Schultz. Names in this life are important, but it's most important that we discover what our soul name is. And I want to know, I would like to dive into that with you because I have not been shown that. Um,
yeah, I don't necessarily know what that means, but that's again, everybody's different, right? What I've been told, when the man with the white beard, he's the best example I can give, right? When the man with the white beard comes to me, I've asked multiple times what his name is and he's never told me. And
yeah.
he tells me because that's a human construct, that energy is energy and we as humans put names and labels on things to make it easier for us to differentiate and understand.
So
So,
we can
if
reach
it
out to
helps
them.
you, if it helps you to have a name or a label for something, absolutely do that. But
Yeah.
just remember, it's just energy. And putting a name on something is a very human thing.
It's
That's
very
not bad.
human.
It's not bad. But
Even
everything is
Bashar,
just energy, right? Even
even
Bashar
Bashar,
says that.
I don't have a name. This is what they refer to me as. So
Right.
it
This
helps
is
us know who to call. Like my main guide is James, and when he came to me, so that's not his name, but that was the name he had with me in a past life.
right.
And he's a
And as
guide
a
for me.
human, our
He,
brain is so limited in its
yeah,
ability to perceive. This makes it easier for the human experience to kind of cross that barrier a little bit. So, while I do fully think that if that's something that resonates with you, absolutely, you should look into it, see what feels right for you. But um, for me personally, it doesn't typically work that way. You know what I
yeah,
mean? My guide has given me her name, but again, it's a name that she uses to communicate to me with. And
correct.
again, it goes back to the meaning behind the name, right? So she gave me that name. I never even looked up the meaning of the name until somebody said, "Hey, did you ever look that up?" And I was like, "Oh, good idea. I should have," you know? And when you look it up, it means messenger of God or something like that. So,
Yes,
you know what I mean? So the name is just to give you a cue. It's still energy. Everything is just energy, you know?
yeah. I'm going to put this up because this one made me giggle. So he's dealing with a lot of synchronicities right now. A lot of things coming in for him. So he said he's
Eric,
freaked
that's a
out.
good thing,
It's
friend. Don't freak out. Don't freak out.
yeah,
Don't put the
it's
brakes
all
on it.
good.
This is what alignment feels like.
Yeah.
Alignment is ease. Alignment
And
is
that's
ease.
February. We're going to find more alignment because we're letting go of shit that no longer serves us, stuff that was holding us back. So we're going to see more alignment as we continue to move in.
Right,
How
right.
exciting. Okay. Okay. Always, Erin always brings great insight. Yes, she does.
I do my best. You know what's fun though is when this live is over, I won't remember anything we talked about because
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my channel. So I have to go back and rewatch my own lives because I have no idea. Um, it's interesting. It's really evolved. It didn't used to happen all the time. Like I would go in and out and in and out. And now it's like just on. And I
Yeah.
don't even recognize it. I'll have moments like right now where I'm like, la, la, la. But when I get talking, that's what that is. That's my channel kicking in. And I don't necessarily, it's the most bizarre feeling in the world because if you've ever done that thing where you kind of zone out in the middle of a conversation, then you come back and somebody goes, right. And you're like, huh,
I
yeah,
just, yeah.
you know? That's what it feels like to me.
I've totally done that. I did that tonight already.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm pulling her up because as I was looking at her, I had a grandfather step forward. Um, he keeps presenting over here, so to me, that's mom's side of the family. Now, I just posted on Patreon. I get a lot of April when I have men step forward, but it's only men who feel really fantastic in their role, a fatherly role, loving role, took care of the family kind of person. I do keep getting that H like Henry or Hank. And I know you didn't ask me for a reading, but I am a medium. And so he showed up. And so I just wanted to share that with you. And M. Wells, if that doesn't make any sense, please just make a note of it, please. Okay. All right. All right. Now I'm done.
Yay. Yes. This morning, Mary, I will say I thought the sun was extra bright. So if you guys want to talk for a second about the energy, someone asked
Yes.
about the heartbeat graph. Yes, it is off the hinges right now. In all of my time observing this has been years. I've never, ever, ever seen the graph look this way. It is an amplification of the signal coming from Earth itself. And in the information I was given in meditation about this was Earth asked, the sun answered. That was the phrase I was given. The amplification of the Earth signal happened first, and then within days, we started having all these solar flares. Okay. So people keep asking me, what does it mean? I don't know what it means. I can only tell you what I'm told, but that's what I was given. The earth asked and the sun answered. You have to remember, all of this energy being offered to us through the sun is information when you slow it down enough to receive it as such, which is part of the purpose of meditation. The purpose of meditation is not to get big booming messages from source, but it's to calm down the noise so that you can hear the information that is constantly being sent to you. You have a steady stream of connection. It's always there. We can't hear it because we have so much noise in our lives. Meditation turns the noise down so that you can hear the steady stream of information. So for a metaphor, meditation is like photosynthesis, right? Plants, there's sunlight everywhere. Through the process of photosynthesis, the sunlight becomes sugar and nourishes the plant. Through the process of meditation, the energy becomes information and nourishes the person. So you just have to, meditation cannot be understated as how important it is to entrain your frequency to a calmer bandwidth so that you can actually understand what's coming through. So just something I wanted to put out there for
Yeah.
everybody. Here I am coming back and I'm like, okay, well, okay, done.
Then next. Next. Just
Happens all the time. Well, MJ, here's the thing. You have to find a way to meditate that works for you. Okay. Not everybody,
oh,
I did not
that's a good
start
one.
meditation in a like meditation. That doesn't work for me most of the time. It took years of practice before I even got to that level. You have to find a way to meditate that works for you. So, the easiest way to recognize when you're in a meditative state is being in flow. Anything you do that when you look down at your watch and you go, oh my God, it's been an hour, that's meditation because you are in the moment, you're in the flow. So it can be anything that gives you that feeling. You just have to let go of telling yourself that it's not meditation unless I get a big booming message because that's
Exactly.
not what it's about. That's not what
No.
it's about. You have to let go of that. And
Yeah.
then you start getting little tiny ideas, and following those ideas are like the breadcrumbs. Then they lead you to somewhere else. Esther Hicks says it all the time, getting ready to be ready, right? You can't just jump into something if you have resistance against it. Yes,
Yeah.
free journaling is a great way to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's so many ways, so many ways.
Yeah. there are so many things you can do to meditate. You can do a breathing meditation. You can do an eating. You can, and all you're literally doing is becoming present within your body. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
So take a bite, feel it, feel the food, feel it go down your throat, feel it hit your belly. I mean, just trace everything. How do you feel when you're walking? You can do a walking meditation. Like feel your feet hit the ground, feel your muscles lift. Be present within your body. That's all that is. I whenever somebody tells me they can't meditate, I'm like, oh, okay, let's I feel like it's okay, it's on, let's do it.
Right.
And I make them.
Ram Dass is someone who I consider to be a huge influence in my life. He was the first metaphysical teacher I ever came across in my awakening experience. And he always taught that when you're trying to meditate, if your mind's going crazy, focus on the feeling of the air coming in and out of your nose, right on the tip of your nose,
Uh-huh.
because it's a very delicate feeling. So you have to pay attention, but you can feel it. And if you can focus right here on that little movement of air, it'll bring you right into the space where you are. And it doesn't mean, even when I meditate, as someone who has meditated every single day for years, even I struggle sometimes, and you go in and out and in and out. It's okay. You just have to get up and do something and come back to it, just something like that.
Just something simple. I'm gonna pull this one up on the screen. So we talked about this in the beginning of today, and so I think maybe touch on it just a tiny bit more, because Erin had said her father came through for her um, shortly after he passed. It took
A
a little
year
bit.
after he
Year.
passed.
Okay, it took a year. I do this for a living, and my grandfather, who was really close to me, it took him like 25 years to come, and I'm like, what the fuck, Grandpa?
Right.
Because I expected he would come in right away. So be patient. Know that you're okay. It's not because you've done anything wrong. Um, One thing about mediumship, again, we're going to be doing a class, and I will talk about this. Is if you chase it, it's the equivalent of chasing a stranger down the road. They're like, "What the hell?"
Well, it also comes from lack. So law of attraction is working against you. You're chasing it because you think you don't have it. So you're broadcasting that frequency of I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it. So law of attraction is
Yeah.
like, okay, you don't have it, you don't have it, you don't have it.
So just be patient and allow. And sometimes he may come in a dream. He may come as a visitation. He might come as a flower. And I know that sounds corny. If he used to always give you a certain flower, or you always smelled his cologne, I would pay
I was just going
attention
to say
to.
a smell. Hmm.
Yeah, there's so many ways they can show up for us, but we are so busy looking for the bonk on the head that we overlook it.
Yeah. Energy is subtle. Energy is very, very
It's
subtle.
very subtle. It's very subtle. In fact, as a medium, we probably miss 60% of what's coming through, especially when it starts flowing really fast and our mouths can't keep up with our brain or
Yep.
the information that's coming in. And when I'm talking to somebody, when I see their deceased loved ones, they pop real fast. And if I blink, I might have missed that. So
Hmm.
it is very subtle, it's very quick. And it's just learning to slow yourself down to tap in.
Yeah. And don't talk yourself out of it. Don't talk
Yeah,
yourself out of it.
that is huge. That is huge, especially for mediums that, oh, I made that up. Or I know when I first started and I sat in circles and did practice readings for people, and I gave this lady like 20 pieces of information and she took all of it. One piece of information I gave her and she was like, no, that's not my dad. And you just got 20 pieces, but that one little piece that she didn't understand. And I'll tell you right now, they're going to talk about a hell of a lot more than what you understand,
Right.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. How can I heal spiritually? Well,
She
that's
had
huge.
another part to that question, though. Did you see the
Oh,
first
yeah,
part?
found it. Okay, gotcha. I survived a violent event where I was present but unharmed. I'm having a hard time letting go of the thought. I feel numb and unable to cry fully. And any advice? Oh, first of all, I think the more we try to push it away, the bigger that it gets because your system needs to understand and process what happened. Um, I say when you're going through something deep and heavy like that, that it's probably going to be important to find a therapist that can help you through, especially if it's a deep trauma, because sometimes you can get stuck in there just because you aren't sure what to do with that energy or that information. So I would say especially in the beginning stages, if you feel like if I look at it, I'm going to go crazy, that's when you know you need somebody to walk you through that. Okay. This time you left.
That was very odd.
This is so weird. So, Erin, do you have anything to add to that? The
No,
surviving the
but
fight.
the emotional scale is a real thing, and feeling numb is just one end of the scale.
Yeah,
And you will work your way through that, right? You start with numb, and then usually it becomes anger, and then you work your way through it. Each one of those is a step forward. It's okay to be where you are. You
yeah,
shouldn't be forcing yourself to do anything. But writing about your experience from a third person point of view can be very helpful because it removes you from the situation. Instead of saying, you write it like Diana experienced this. Diana felt this way because it gives you a bird's eye view of things and can put it into a different perspective. I'm a big fan of therapy. I think therapy combined with other procedures like Reiki, perhaps, or sound, whatever floats your boat. But for me, it needs to be a well rounded approach. You need support on multiple places, but allowing yourself to feel the way you feel and not beating yourself up because you're not processing it the same way somebody else does is a big
you're
part
not
of it.
going to. We're all wired completely different, so you couldn't. And don't let other people tell you how to process it. That is going to be important. The thing that concerns me is you're unable to cry fully. So, how we were talking about meditation will bring that up for you if you sit with it. If you want to be able to open that up so that you can release, go into meditative state. You can do mudras. There are different types of mudras. This is Gyan, Gyan. Okay. This one really helps that connection, but there's a lot of different ones that move energy in your body
Mm-hmm.
that will help you with that processing, sweet soul. So, okay. All right. This one. Let's read this one. I get words that pop into my mind and I have to look them up. Yes, that's clairaudience. Okay, that's how I get my information. Yes, it started back when my horse kept calling me Darka, which I found out means always late. Late to the barn. Like, do you also get words in Sanskrit? Because that's how it started for me, as I was getting words in Sanskrit, and I didn't know it was a Sanskrit. I just had to Google and what in the hell am I hearing? But it's
No.
great fun.
You want to hear? So I'll tell you, I'm going to share a really wild story with you guys, okay? Now, I need you to remember that this was years ago, so there are some details that are now very foggy, so I'm going to do my best. But years ago, early in my awakening experience, I went into such a deep meditation that I dropped into a past life experience on accident. And in that experience, I was a flight attendant on an airplane. I could clearly see the seats. I could see the design on the seats. I could see my uniform, and the airplane was crashing into a body of water. Now, it was not an ocean, it looked more like a river. And in the memory, as I came into it, I was coming down the aisle and turning around, and the coffee pot fell off the thing because the plane banked and the coffee pot fell off and hit me in the head, right? This is the memory I had.
Yeah.
And when I came out of that, I thought it was a dream, right? But I couldn't let go of the way the seats looked on the airplane. I could not let it go. So one day I'm just sitting there and I'm on Google and I typed in, and now I can't even remember. I think they were, anyway, you'll look them up. So type it in, see airplane seats that look like this. Came up, it was TWA.
Oh,
Now, I've never flown TWA. It was done before I was old enough to be on it. I saw pictures of the women's uniforms, absolutely. And I started doing research and I found myself. I found the woman that I think I was seeing in that imagery through newspaper
oh, nice.
clippings. And I saw her face, and the feeling that happened in my body, it was like an explosion happened. And it was the most bizarre experience I have ever had, because I'm looking at it and I don't know, I don't even have words to explain it. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, holy shit, like, oh my God, that's me. Like, I completely recognized myself. I
Mhm.
recognized the write up from it. It was an airliner, it was a small airplane crash into, I don't remember now if it was the Hudson River or something like that. And it was in I want to, 60s, late 60s, early 70s, right? Somewhere around there. I even remember the smell of cigarette smoke on the airplane, which for me, as a person, I've never been on an airplane where smoking was allowed. So that's
Oh,
not
oh,
something I
I
remember.
have. I'm
Right?
old.
Right. Well, I'm almost 50, but I wasn't flying in an airplane until I
Right.
was, so it just, and for a long time, I kept that article printed out, right? And I would go back to it every once in a while. But every time I go back to it, I would get this feeling like, I need to let this go. I need to let go of this. And I
Yeah.
think the reason, and with hindsight, what I started to recognize was the reason that that had been shown to me was so I could let it go, because that piece of me was still hanging on to the fear of that crash. And now this version of me had become well enough, I guess, to
Yeah.
feel and release that energy instead of having it trapped in that experience. I've never had another one that was that much, but that's something pretty crazy that happened to me.
That's intense. That's intense.
I don't remember now if everyone on the plane died. I know that the woman that I perceived as myself definitely died. And I think the pilot, there were two stewardesses, is what we were called. There were two stewardesses and two pilots, I believe. And I think the stewardesses and one of the pilots, but I can't remember now.
I wonder if this person was on the plane with you. And I say that sincerely because that shit happens. So, a vivid dream about an airplane crash, but didn't experience the feeling of it going down. Quickly was inserted back into the dream with the plane on fire.
I mean, I don't know. It's very possible. I know that this one crashed into the water. It could have caught on fire. I
Uh,
don't know. I don't know. I
that's
just know that the
intense.
coffee pot is what killed me. It wasn't even the crash. It was
you're,
the coffee pot.
you're like, I don't want to experience that. Our souls
Right.
decide how we're going to pass and what we're going to experience. So your soul was like, not today. We're going to
Hmm.
do it. We're going to do this. When I met my main guide James, in heavy meditation, deep meditation, I got names, dates, and things. So I looked him up online, and we were pioneers. It was in the Civil War. He was a captain or something. I found our names, James, and my name was Hannah. It looked like me. I was like,
Yeah.
what
Everything's
the
connected.
shit?
I want to address this. Jackie said, when I saw the movie Titanic, I cried for 2 days. I think I was there.
Oh,
Absolutely. That happens too. Movies,
yeah,
historical movies will trigger memories. Um,
yes,
Also, sometimes fantasy movies will trigger memories. For me, the second Avatar movie, the one with the water, I went to see that in the theater. And the minute the first image came on the screen, I was uncontrollably sobbing for the entire movie. I could not stop. And I'm sitting there going, why am I doing this? This is so stupid.
which one was it?
The second Avatar movie, The
Yeah,
Way of
me
the
too.
Water,
I had to.
I
I
could not stop.
visceral.
I recognize something in this. I got chill bumps right now. I
Yeah,
recognize something in this. And something we have to remember is everything exists. Everything exists. When the people in our society are making movies, they're only picking up on a frequency that's already there. They're just interpreting it through their lens. So while it may not look exactly like Avatar, the feeling behind that, the community behind it, that's what they were picking up on, and that's the story they're telling. And
dude, totally.
if you ever listen to interviews with people like Stephen King or James Cameron or George Lucas, they all talk about that. It
Yeah,
is very real to them. They pick it up and they write it
yeah,
out, and that's exactly how it is for them. These are real realities. We just don't have access to them.
yeah.
And maybe it doesn't look exactly like that, but something to that
Dude,
effect.
truth is so much crazier than fiction. so much crazier. I used to always think there's no way that kind of stuff could really happen.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Okay,
So,
good.
PG5D, do me a favor. Please stop spanning the chat with the name of this book. I understand that you want all of us to read this book, but it's starting to really irritate my spirit that you keep dropping that in there. I love that you're here and you're welcome to be here, but every other comment, you're saying something about a book. So I need you to drop that, please. And thank you.
Oh, I don't see it at all. Because I could remove that. I don't
It's
see it.
PG5D, and I want them to be here. I'm happy they're here, but literally every other comment is read this book, look in this book, do this book. Friend, we heard you. We heard you. You got to drop it.
Okay. Sorry, I did not catch that.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, here's another one that I think is important. Miss Mary, telepathy tapes about creative consciousness.
Telepathy tapes are amazing.
Have you? Oh, good. I was going to ask you if you watched.
I haven't listened to the new season. I listened to the first season, but you know what's interesting? There was a documentary that came out a few years ago called "Tell Them You Love Me." Did you see this?
No, or did I
Okay,
don't.
so I think it's on Netflix. In this documentary, this is years before telepathy tape. Okay, in this documentary, there was a woman care provider who worked with a mentally disabled man, adult man, and they had a romantic relationship, but she was accused of abusing him and forcing him to type this out because they said there's no way that she could be feeling this from him, right? Lo and behold, telepathy tapes come out. And here now I'm thinking this poor woman may very well have actually been telling the truth and trying to say this is a real thing. And they
This is a
completely
real
dismissed her.
thing.
They pressed charges on her. I don't know if she went to jail or not, but all of these things happened. And then we have proof coming out that this is a real thing, you know?
It is so real and it's so fascinating, and I love that it's getting traction. I'm talking, it is there. She's all over mainstream shows right now. I mean, she's got some traction.
And she should be, because this is what we need. There's too many
Absolutely.
people who want solid proof, How am I supposed to give you solid proof of something like this? This is the closest we're going to get
Yeah,
with something like this, you
yeah.
know?
All the studies and the testing they're doing, that to me, that's solid proof. I mean, it's like, did you hear what she just said?
Right.
You can't make this up. You just can't. Okay, gateway tapes. I don't know what those are.
So the gateway tapes, that's Dr. Monroe's work, and the gateway tapes are to help you have remote viewing or out of body experiences. It is a lot of tapes, so I
Okay.
have not listened to all of them. And also, I think it's really important to note that those tapes are designed to be listened to in a specific order. So if you listen out of order, you're not getting the same thing. And unless you purchase the bundle, it's hard to find them in the order you need them in, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
while yes, I have listened to many of the gateway tapes, I did not do it properly. I did not do it in order, and I haven't listened to all of them. So I'm not qualified to give you any kind of information on that. I didn't do it properly. But the Monroe Institute is they have many programs, residential like retreat programs that you can go to, that they utilize this technology and they help you learn how to remote view and astral travel and all this stuff. And it's a very well-known institute in Virginia that's really close to UVA, where they do a lot of the research into the kids who remember their past lives. So the Monroe Institute and the UVA Center for Research are really close to each other. They work together on a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's good. Would I put this one up on the screen? Where do fears and phobias come from? Because I'm totally petrified of zombies.
I mean, for me personally, I think fears and phobias are residual leftover stuff from other experiences, because you have to remember time is not linear. Everything is happening at once. So if your higher self is having a life experience somewhere or you're constantly being attacked by spiders, you might not like spiders in other life experiences because this has such an effect on you in that one. Everything is energy, everything resonates and rings like a bell. So, all kinds of stuff like that. I have a huge phobia, and it's a very specific phobia. I'm not afraid of heights, but I cannot walk over something that I can see under. Like the stairs that you
No, I
can
get
see
that.
through.
Yeah.
I have paralyzing fear. And I know that it's because of some life experience that I have where I must have fallen or something. And it is not a little thing. It
No.
like in Chicago, the streets have street grates everywhere where all
Oh,
the steam
right.
comes up.
Yeah.
I will cross a busy street before I will walk over that grate. And I've done it. And my husband, he thinks it's hilarious, but I legitimately physically cannot make myself do it. I will
Yeah.
have a full on panic attack. I can go to the top of a building in an elevator. I can walk right up to the edge as long as I can't see underneath me. But if I can see under me, I absolutely cannot do it. So when people have stairs that you can see through, I
That
ain't
feels
going
like
upstairs.
that feels like being grabbed. That feels like something
It may
sucking
have been,
you
I don't know what it was, but nope, there is no amount of money that you could pay me to do that. Zero. And I have no interest in getting over the phobia either. I'm not interested in it. I don't need to do it. I'm fine, you know?
We do absolutely bring those in with us if we, I've had a lot of clients who have drowned in past lives. So when I do past life regressions, I've had people that had a guy that was eaten by a bear. Um, and all those different ways, we can absolutely have phobias: fear of heights, fear of falling, fear of flying, all fear of spiders. Maybe if they got
Yeah. I
bit,
mean, clowns, all the stuff,
all,
maybe John
all,
Wayne Gacy got a hold of you. Who knows?
all the things.
All the things. Everything is connected. Everything
Yeah.
is connected.
I feel like the fear of zombies has something to do more with death or a fear of
That's what I was
death.
gonna say, is that feels more like a death thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not, not my experience, but, who knows? In voodoo,
But
zombies
we
are a
both
very real
felt it.
thing. Right, and in voodoo, zombies are a very real thing, so if you had a life experience where voodoo was part of your religious practice, you may have had a fear of zombies because that's something that's propagated in that religion.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, that it has to be a zombie ate you. Maybe it was a fear of something, it just,
I want to respond to this one too. How should I respond to a past person in my dream? Thank them for stepping forward.
yeah.
I think most of the time when like if we get images, like I used to get the images of the little girl from The Exorcist, it used to traumatize me. And what I learned was instead of letting myself run away from that fear, to bring it in and give it a hug and look at it. So I teach people to do that all the time. Instead of running from your fears, look at them. Unless it's a fire, run. You get the point though. If
Right.
look at them, look at it, dissect it. What is this for you? And I will call on Jesus if I get a little terrified. Jesus isn't Christian. Jesus is Christ consciousness. You can call on that energy if something weirds you out. Archangel Michael is another good one you can call on.
I think Jackie has a great question. Says, I was wondering if a physical problem can manifest in this life when you reach the age you were in another life and you were hurt in some way. Yes, I absolutely
Yes,
think so. Um,
yes.
I've personally had 3 quantum healing hypnosis past life regressions, and I was clearly shown that my migraines, right? So I'm a chronic migraine sufferer.
Mm,
They're always right here. I was
yeah,
clearly shown a life experience where I was hit in the head here and I had damage here. And so it comes forward in this life experience. I get migraines always right here. And when I get these migraines, there is nothing I can take to get rid of them. I've
right.
been to at least 20 different neurologists. I've had every test you can think of. I've tried 100 medications. It does not go away. And when I
And they,
did the past life healing thing, what I was told is that it was the result of that. And the woman who did my thing, she said, well, they're going to work on it for you, but there must be a reason that it's there, So if there's a reason for it to be there, they're not going to remove it. I don't know, but it
I
got
was going to
better.
say because they can clear that. They have cleared cancer in a single session. They
Right.
have cleared.
So,
I haven't done that, but
well, it
studies.
got better. It got better than it was, but also something that goes along with that is that headache is most active when when the atmosphere is super active. So it may also be part of the sensitivity of my system coming through. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So the whole reason I started looking at the Schumann was because I was having crazy migraines and I couldn't figure out why, and
Oh,
emotional issues. And the person I was talking to was like, "Well, have you ever thought of this?" Right? So, you know what I mean? Like there's all these
see?
things that
And you
can add.
probably wouldn't have done that.
Exactly. So everything is related. So it's not just, it's and. There's more than one reason for things usually, you know?
Yes. Yep. Oh, somebody said pot.
I tried it. I tried it. It does not help my migraines. It does not help my migraines. Believe me, if you can give me a remedy, I have tried it. I
Yeah,
have absolutely. I've been to pain clinics. I've been to neurologists.
coffee pot,
I've been to acupuncturists. I have literally done everything
all
I
the
can ever
things.
do. It will not do it. The coffee pot, right? Maybe it was the coffee pot, but I just heard that there was an injury here, and I didn't even connect it to the coffee pot till you said that. So maybe it was. Hey, thanks for
Dude,
that
I was laughing when
fibromyalgia,
she said coffee. I was not making the connection. My brain
right?
was like,
But
squirrel.
it could have been. It
That's
very well
awesome.
could have been. See, now my head is red right where that is, right? So that, I mean, it very well
That's
could have been the
awesome.
coffee pot because I wasn't shown the life experience. I was just told it was from an injury in a life experience.
That's awesome. And so that can happen. That can come up and show itself in past life regression too. When I'm walking a client through how they passed and say maybe they were stabbed in the neck, they can start to get like the red cut. And it won't
Mhm.
open their skin, but they'll get discoloration.
Yeah.
And so those things, because it's cell memory,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
so
Your
that it,
cells are conscious. Your cells are conscious. Talk to them. Talk to them.
dude,
Tell them how grateful you are to have a body that you can use every
think
day.
it,
How
think
happy
it.
you are that you can feel the air in your lungs. You know, the things I used to say to myself is, I am grateful to have feet to stand on this soggy, cold ground. I am grateful to have hands to hold this food. I am grateful to have ears to hear the birds. I am happy to be able to smell the fresh cut grass, you know,
Yes.
all of these things. Give you great be grateful for your body. It's a miracle. It's literally a walking miracle the way things work in this body.
It literally is. I just had to put that up because it made me giggle.
Yeah.
She's like the coffee pot, not hot. Of course, my brain goes there.
So, Mary, I mean, I've had more than one person try to so many people have asked. I had one person reach out and ask if I was Lyrian because when she saw my name, she thought it said consciously Lyrian. She didn't realize that it said consciously Erin. So she reached out to me and she said, "Are you Lyrian?" I don't know. I'm a Leo. I don't know. I
You
have no
very well
idea.
could be. Have you ever done? Well, we can find out.
You know what? I think the insight I was given in one of my QHHT sessions was I called myself a traveler.
Uh-huh.
I the way I showed myself, I guess, was I don't know that I have like a home base that I spend most time in. I think I'm spread out because I'm a teacher, right? So I go where I'm needed. And the impression I got was that I don't belong to any one particular thing more than another, that
Yeah.
my higher self has fingers in all of the pots.
Yeah.
And that's why I, Erin, am so drawn to space, right? Since I was a
Mhm.
child, I've absolutely loved everything about space, right? So my higher self told me that that's why I'm so drawn to space because I have so many other incarnations that are constantly traveling to different dimensions and different places, different planets. So I feel that longing to be in that space and to
Yeah.
travel and to do things, you know?
Yeah.
So who knows?
That's awesome. I did want to. That's not the one I wanted to pull up. This one, because when I was talking about, I died in my past life with my guide James, and I was shot in the chest, and on my chest I have a birthmark that looks like shotgun spatter.
That's really cool.
And obviously didn't know that as a child. I just knew I had this weird birthmark. So,
Yeah.
so yes, we can absolutely come in. You see people with the big things on their foreheads, or the 100% past life could be how they passed. Most likely was they brought
Port
that
wine
memory.
birthmarks.
Yep,
Port wine birthmarks have always been shown to me to be burns from past
yep,
life. People with severe eczema have also been shown to me to be
yes.
burns in past lives.
This
My
one.
friend Heather See the witch wound? So my friend Heather, she has terrible, terrible eczema all over her body, and in one of her past life regressions, she was shown that she was burned at the stake. And so she has all this residual on her skin from that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of reasons why people are drawn to space. It just depends. I mean, that's just for
Yeah,
me why I'm so drawn to space. You know,
absolutely.
everybody's different. MJ, I want to say you said my cells don't listen when I ask the pain to stop. You have to stop coming from a place of lack. You can't do that. When you sit there and say stop hurting, you're coming from the place of I don't want this pain, which is still putting out there pain, pain, pain.
Yeah.
You have to remember how law of attraction works. You have to find a way to focus on what does not hurt and focus there and build the momentum behind that, you know?
Oh, I like this one. I agree with you 100% on that. And it's something people say, well, it's not going to work. You're right.
Exactly.
It's like,
Law of attraction, the answer is always yes. The answer
yes,
is always yes. If you say I'm broke, law of attraction is like yes.
yes.
If you say I'm rich, law of attraction, yes. The answer is always yes with law of attraction.
And yes, past life reviews, or past life reviews. Life reviews when we leave our physical body, 100%. When my
Yes.
mom died, I was invited to hers and I chickened out because this was pretty new to me at the time. And I was afraid I would traumatize me. And now I'm kicking myself in the butt. So if you ever get invited, go, go. It's There was another question that I thought was really
Well, and I
great.
don't think I want to say something about that. I don't think life reviews are not there to punish you.
No,
You're not
no,
being judged
no,
in that space. What
no.
you're being shown is the other person's perspective.
All the
So if you
things.
did something that say, I mean, I'm completely so say you cheat on your spouse in this life experience. When you go to your life review, they're going to show you that event and they're going to let you see how that affected that person. And you may feel that on a emotional level, but only to show you why this wasn't a good choice. It's not to punish you, it's not for anything, it's to give you perspective on things.
On what you accomplished during this lifetime. Did you do what you set out to do? What did you
Right.
learn? What did you experience? It's all of the things. And it's not about being punished at all. I just didn't know if I know my mom had had a lot of experiences and I just didn't feel like being in such a place where I was missing my mom that I felt like I could sit in on that. I regret it to this day, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I do like this one. What about a huge part one that matches their parent? Daughter has the same as dad's. That screams to me they were together when they passed and
Yeah.
that they had a similar.
You have a group of souls, for lack of a better word,
Yeah,
that you
pod
choose
partners.
to have experiences with because they're going to help you learn the lesson that you came here to learn.
Yes,
And maybe sometimes that's someone who's really a contrarian in your life. If you have a sister that's constantly on your nerves, there's probably a reason because she's trying to
yes,
get you to do something, spiritually, or you come here with a plan. You don't just willy-nilly arrive here. And people that you run into and meet, it happens because you resonate on the same frequency. So you have to give room for that. Not
yes,
everybody's in your soul family, but everybody you interact with is interacting with you on purpose.
yes. There is a plan. There is a reason. If they're triggering you or they're annoying you, there is a purpose to that. The mom who's the alcoholic, she signed up for that to help you, believe it or not. And that's a
Right.
hard one because a lot of people are like, I can do this. Well,
Yeah.
sold it. I love this question, Miss Melissa. Do past pets come back as new pets? Sometimes, not always. They, um, what I learned is that animals aren't animal souls; they're souls. So they can choose to vibrate as a human, or they can choose to come back as an animal. Animals have higher vibration than we humans do, so they probably would choose
They
to stay
definitely have a
as
more pure vibration, that is
yeah,
for sure.
100%. Yeah, very
I want
kind.
to, I want to be careful just for a second and correct me if you don't resonate with this. I want to be really careful about the nomenclature around vibration because people get so in their head about I need to have a high vibration.
Oh,
Energy is energy. It
did
moves
I
this
say that?
way. It moves this way, not this way. There is nothing better or worse, just different. You
This,
move this way,
the soul doesn't label the experience either. So The soul isn't going, "Ooh, that was bad." It is just an experience. So it doesn't say this was bad, this was good, this is icky. That is human. We're here to have those experiences, but that's not coming from the soul. And I kind of think it goes along with what you're saying about the vibration.
Right.
But with animals, they do have a higher frequency than we humans
Yes,
do.
they have a higher frequency.
Yes,
They're just, it doesn't mean it's better, right? Like people get,
it's
oh, it's I have to raise my vibration. What does that even mean to you? Raise your vibration. Like, what are you trying to do? The human
well,
body is physical in nature. You raise it too high, friend, you're going to be a puddle. Okay. It can only sustain so much vibration. You have a range, right? And
think
you
of
can be on this
Lucy.
end of it or you can be on this end of it. And depending on where you are is what you're picking up. 99.5 on the radio and 105.5 on the radio are both broadcasting music. One isn't better or worse. They're just different. It's all about perception and all that sort of things.
Um, and yes, I agree with that.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like we're in agreement on most stuff. I don't know that there's anything that we were like, no, no.
No, well, and part of that too is because I honestly I don't know the answers. I only know what I know, right? I can only offer you what I've
Literally
received. And
same. You
I'm
know what?
very open to the fact that I don't know everything. And I learn constantly, and that's one of the best things, you know?
Yes, this is, so I'm going to put this up. So Louise Hay um, has a book on that. There's another, she actually has a lot of books. They are over on YouTube. They are like $10 for the most part. So they're fairly easy to, wonderful things that it explains to you what's going on in your body, why it's happening, and how you can work on healing it. But if you've already gotten to the point where it's turned into cancer, you have to do a little more work than
Right.
just it's yeah. Okay, but yes, thank you, Mary. Okay. Um Birthmark with my mom on my lower back. Oh, see? That's probably past life. You guys
Right.
might have passed in the same way in a past life. She might have been your aunt in a past life. She might have been your husband in a past life.
Right.
And the soul doesn't have a sex either.
Right.
So we can choose depending on what it is we need to learn and we need to experience. It kind of grossed me out when I learned that somebody that was my brother in my past life could be my husband in this life. I was not okay with that.
Yeah. Right. It can be freaky. And also you have to remember that you your higher self is trying to expand as much as possible. That means your higher self has life experiences where you're the bad guy,
Yes, you've
right?
been a murderer. All the
But
horrible
what we
things.
have to remember is it's not me, Erin, making those choices.
Correct.
It's like an identical twin, similar but different. Same source, different version, right? But the only way to learn is through the experience.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's going to be a life experience where you were the bad guy or you did something really, really bad. And that's
Yeah.
how it is. It just is, you know?
Yep. Oh, this is adorable. If we start a spiritual metaphysical book club,
Girl, that's assuming that I would sit down and read something. It's hard for me to read. It is so hard for me to sit down, and I love to read. It's just my attention span these days are zero.
yeah, I thought this was a great question.
That's a great question. So it's nuanced, right? Do you have to go through a dark night of the soul? No. But however, the dark night of the soul is usually a very natural next step in your growth process because what happens in the dark night of your soul is the dissolution of all of the structures that you have built around yourself so that you can grow through it. So if you have a particularly religious upbringing, as you go through your dark night of the soul, it can feel very dark because you are undoing all of that teaching. And that's really difficult. It's also where you take accountability for yourself and you start to recognize, oh, wait, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, you are the problem, right? And that's where a
Surprise.
lot of people get stuck is they don't want to
Yes.
do that because it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable because as a society, we've gotten very used to pointing the finger and saying it's your fault I feel this way.
Yeah.
Just like when someone
Yeah.
says you're triggering me, that ain't my problem.
No, that's your shit.
Those triggers
And
belong
that's
to you.
and that's hard for a lot of people
It is
because
hard for a lot of
we
people.
want no that you get it. No, no, no.
Right.
No, no.
So no,
I
you don't
love getting
have to go
touched
through a
up.
dark night of the soul, and you won't have just one either because it's not a single awakening
No.
experience. And because you are still human, you're going to constantly accumulate shadows. What happens though is after you go through the dark night of the soul, if you proactively start doing shadow work, it becomes preventative maintenance rather
Yeah.
than repair. So it doesn't run you off the road into a ditch. When you start to get a little wobbly, you go, "Oh, I need to work on this." And that's where your power comes from. That's when
Yeah.
you have control over your life rather than being at the mercy of the circumstances of your life, because the circumstances can change. So, I mean, hopefully that answers the question, but it's not yes or no, it's yes and,
Yeah. I
right?
think that was a great answer. Oh, I didn't want to do that one. Sorry. Oh shit. What am I doing? Oh Lord. I just I thought this was cool. When my son was 5 years old, well, 4 years old, he said, "When I grow up, I want to be a tree." And my husband and I are like, "What the heck?" And now I understand the consciousness. And you may have been a tree in a past life, my dear, and you may have loved that. In quantum healing hypnosis, there have been instances where where the soul would say, "I just wanted to go back to be a tree." You're
Yeah.
connected. I
Yeah.
know. How
I mean,
cool
it
is
depends on
that?
the experience that you're going to get from it, right?
Yes, what you're going to learn. Yeah. Shoot, I talked to a rock.
Yeah. I mean, that
Seriously.
movie, there's that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, does a great
Yeah.
job of demonstrating that, right? Like they show all these alternative realities where in one reality she's a movie star, in one reality she's a rock, in one reality she's this, in one reality she's that. You know, it's all these different things.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right, my dear. I don't know about you, but we have been on here an hour and 40.
Hmm. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. It did. It went fast.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody real quick, don't forget, we are doing a combined class. Go get your
Yes.
tickets. It is on Eventbrite. It's on my website. I'm sure Melissa has a link to
Yes.
it somewhere. It
I
is a
should.
dual class. It's two classes in one. You're going to learn about energy and how it applies to mediumship, and then you're going to learn about mediumship and how to work with it, right? It's two
Yes.
classes in one. So go check that out. Make sure you get your tickets, right?
Yep. They are
And then check
limited.
us out.
And it's Friday, April 10th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah. So that's 8 p.m. Central Time. So,
8 p.m.
and remember, even if you can't make it in person, if you buy a ticket, you'll get the link. You can go back and watch it when you have time. So
Yes.
just yeah, it is super cool. We do this we do this usually once a month. This month we're doing it twice a
We're
month.
doing
So
it
keep an eye
twice.
open. And now that I'm broadcasting this on my YouTube channel, we're reaching some more people. So
Yes.
yeah. So, Mary, if you go to my website, consciouslyerin.com, and go to the button that says Tools for Transformation, when you click on that, it'll take you to a whole list and you can pick from any of those, but that's where it'll be.
I've got it up right here, Erin. I'm just going to throw you up. I'll throw you up. I'm not throwing up anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
There. Put that up there.
And I'm
I
going to
do.
actually be in an in person retreat in June, you guys. So keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes
Oh,
open.
thank you. I have one coming up in person in March 27th. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm super stoked about it. It's my first one. It's a mountain retreat overnight, so I'm really excited.
Yes, there's all these opportunities, friends. So
We're
much
doing
opportunity for
things.
you guys to get into the community. So come on out and join us.
I do want to answer a question real fast because somebody asked, and I get asked this a lot. Where'd she go? How long should I wait uh, to try a session after somebody has passed? I ask you to give yourself time to move through the grieving process. It is not about the deceased person because they can come in like that, literally. I have literally had it happen. They passed that morning. They were like, "Hey, friend," all kinds of excitement. So they can come in immediately. The waiting process is never about them. It is about you and how much grief you're working with, especially if you're going through a lot of shock.
Yeah.
And if you've had somebody die unexpectedly, there's going to be typically a lot of shock around that. So just give yourself time. I remember when my son died, I felt like I was walking a walking zombie. And then one day, 6 months in, it was like somebody turned the lights on.
Yeah.
So just you've got to be kind to yourself and trust yourself on this. I usually say 3 to 6 months, but you've got to trust yourself. If it
Grief is
takes,
kind of like a blanket.
dude,
It covers everything and it can be really heavy. And so it can be hard to get anything through that. And I mean, my own dad, when he came to me, he said, I had to wait until you were ready.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So,
yep,
yeah, it was so fun. Thank you, everybody.
yes, yes.
Someone asked, where else do I broadcast this? This is only on my YouTube, but it's on Melissa's Facebook. So it
Yeah,
just depends on where
yeah.
you
I
find
have it on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube. Okay,
it. All
all
right.
right. Okay, kids, it was nice to see you. Thank you guys for joining so much.
Tiene un buen día.
What'd you say?